income tax, he swallowed hard and did it. That's the sort of leadership I'd like to see. And thirdly, to recognize that the economy has changed so dramatically that we need to understand the dimensions of this change and how we're going to respond to it, so that we can better shape the allocation of our resources. Are we investing enough in K through 12 education, or are we investing too much? How about our investment in higher education? One area that I work in quite a lot is with the manufacturing guys. And even though manufacturing employment has been declining, every year 20 to 30,000 people retire. And those jobs have gone vacant because we have not been training enough people in blue-collar jobs. Because we've taken, people like me with my bleeding heart liberal attitude, everybody should go to university. Well, maybe we need to think whether we need to go back to the old days where our community colleges were providing vo-tech education. And Chicago has actually converted one of the high schools into a manufacturing high school, where the kids go in the morning, they punch the clock, they have a combination of classes and on-the-floor experience, learning how to be tool and die makers, lathe operators. The local manufacturing guys are there offering them employment. They're very excited. I mean, the problem is this is a piecemeal solution to something that should have been seen as part of a broader mosaic in which the allocation of resources should be designed to sort of connect the dots in the economy. And that's something we haven't done. But I think this absolute problem of not recognizing that amongst the higher education institutions there's enormous talent here. And I'm so jealous of colleagues in Indiana. Mitch Daniels has put together a consortium of Purdue, Indiana, and Notre Dame to basically provide him a sort of informal cabinet, to provide him with inputs. We don't do stuff like this. And I thought it was me, but it's not. I think it's there's a generic problem in this state about their attitude towards higher education, which I cannot understand.
I guess with the current state of the economy, what do you foresee for the state of Illinois pension funds? And is it even probable that the funds could eventually run out?
Yeah. How much time do we have? I have only been addressing the current account deficit with these data. The $82 billion overhang is a significant one. And Tom Johnson of the Taxpayers Federation is basically arguing that is by far the more serious issue. And I think he's absolutely right. And I think that the concern here is what impact that will have in terms of the long-term finances of the state's economy. There is no doubt that when I came here, there was an expectation that my contributions would be matched. They have not been. And so I'm a little concerned that now I'm being told that the pension plan was too generous. Actuarially, it was not too generous had the state done its business. So the state has essentially created a problem, and I think there is an increasing sense that state employees are getting too generous pension, and somehow that has to be reduced. And I think that sends a very unfortunate message to people who might come to the state of Illinois, because if there is not this commitment, then if you have a choice about where you're going to go in higher education or in public service, this may not be a place. And so what may happen is we end up getting lower quality people because the good people are going to go somewhere else. And as bad as California's economy is, I understand that their pension obligations are 97% committed. New York is 105%. And it's because we didn't salt away that money when we did. And the question is now, what are we going to do about it? But I think, to be honest, the short-term issues are ones that have to be addressed. And then I think as part of that solving of that short-term problem, there's got to be some 10, 15-year program to essentially reduce that deficit. And there's no way I think the state can avoid this, because if they don't, there will be an enormous amount of litigation, and I think that the potential for having a real impasse in terms of the state's ability to govern effectively is going to be compromised if they don't do it. So they have to announce something. And in the past, it's been done by borrowing. I mean, the last time they borrowed money to pay the obligation. I mean, it's nuts to do that. Or 1 year, and I think it was 2004, Blagojevich borrowed a lot of money and decided he was going to put it in the stock market at 8% and then give 5% to the pension. So what did they do? They spent more money that year rather than paying a greater percentage of the deficit down. I mean, this is fiscally irresponsible behavior, and it would be just so wonderful to have somebody in there who had a plan and a strategy, so that those of us who are still functioning in the institution can have some expectation that when we do retire, that our pension will be there, and it will not be, as has happened in a lot of private sector firms, that it just evaporates, and suddenly we're working on 40% or 50% of what we expected. So.